Mike, turn your games down.
Hi everybody, welcome to this month's What Are You Playing? For April 2024 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, who's playing some games with me tonight.
Hi, it's me, Space Milk Cutie, or just known as Milk. I'm back. It's been a while. Thanks for having me again.
It has been a while.
I guess it's just me.
And Carson.
No. Yeah, I'm here, Carson. I'm here.
And it's Kyle. Hello, everybody. I am back once again on the show, and I'm so happy to be here.
Welcome, and welcome, Rody, back to our What Are You Playing episode. And as I like to start off these every month, I'll start off with a snap and get that out quickly, because that way it can just skip.
I just like...
There you go.
See, I can't actually snap, so I can't do it that way. But
that's why you play this game so much. It just fills a void.
Maybe, you know, I actually can't snap at all for some reason, unfortunately.
I thought you said snack, not snap. I was about to say that I'm eating a kettle chip.
I have a 0 sugar cherry Pepsi next to me, but no food. I just finished eating. But what I do want to talk about is Marvel Snap. The game that I play a lot of. Right now, we're in the Thunderbolt season this year, or this month. I shouldn't say this year. Yeah. I mean, the game is still fun. I still play. They made some great changes to some people. They nerfed Thanos. They killed Alioth, sort of, and people were upset. But then again, there's nothing more defeating for the receiving end when you're playing a card game. It's turn 6, last turn of the game. You put down your cards. The opponent has initiative. They put down one card, and all your cards disappear. They changed that, so that doesn't happen anymore. That was one of the abilities of Alioth. He would just, any cards that were played in that lane out of the 3 lanes, they played in his lane, and he initiative, he just destroyed those cards off the board. And they changed it now to where he just erases the text. So the cards still exist, but it loses whatever its ability was. So you can still win doing it, but it's just not as neat. That was a big change. People were happy. It was considered the villain of my app. I unfortunately was sad because I happen to be a user of said card, so but I get it. You know, it was. But no, they keep improving the game. They keep doing patches. They keep adding new characters. We just got Red Hulk. We got U.S. Agent, which I have no interest in. You know, we got Valentina coming out soon, White Widow, Red Guardian. Like, they're just adding new cards. I'm wondering if Thunderbolts was originally supposed to come out this month, this year, at one point. That's what I'm thinking. Because Marvel Snap at one point was very, like, it followed what the movies were going on at the time. But then the Marvel movies decided to start putting out turds, and then, yeah, the writer's strike and everything happened. So I'm assuming that's why we're currently in the Thunderbolt season, because there's no movie. So
yeah, that was kind of a question I was thinking about asking. It's like, someone who's not very tuned into things, how's Marvel as a movie franchise doing these days? I don't hear much about it.
They're taking off this year, mostly.
Oh, okay.
We're getting Deadpool 3 / Wolverine.
That's all I really know.
I think that's it. And that's needed. I mean, there were a few bad movies.
It's technically not the MCU movie stuff, but X-Men 97 is banging on all cylinders.
Yeah, we can talk about that right away and get the games later, because that's on my list to bring up. So, yeah, X-Men 97 is great.
Yeah, that last one just really hurt.
Yeah. Milk, are you watching X-Men 97?
No, it shows how tuned in I'm in. I've only just heard about this today. There was a post in the Overblood group of somebody saying it's a good year to be an X-Men 97 fan. And I went, and all I could think of is that picture of the very large rump on the femme person in the green suit and that meme that came back. I don't know much about X-Men 97. Yeah, sure.
The Apocalypse with the big blue guy in the background?
Yeah. I don't know much about X-Men, especially whatever X-Men 97 means.
It's a sequel to the 93 show. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
good.
Yeah, cartoon show, yeah. Well, I think both are good. But the new one is even better. I will grant you that.
One holds up in 2024, one does not.
Ah, I see.
Well, it's animated by, like, Saban, so, like, of course the animation's not going to hold up.
Kyle, are you trying to tell me that Saban is a cheap ass? How can you say that?
You mean Shuki Levy and Haim Saban are actually terrible people? Shock and awe! I thought all billionaires were good people.
Hey, when Saban filmed Mighty Morphin Power, he was so nice he let the cast share hotel rooms.
And they also made sure to do extra homophobic bullying to the one gay cast member. How sweet!
He's a piece of shit, I know.
Yeah.
I cut him down when it comes up in this show.
No, Mike, I'm sorry. No, I'm really shocked. You mean to tell me a billionaire is a piece of shit? billionaire. A
Never.
billionaire.
I guess I want to kind of.
It never happens.
Just saying to kind of clarify, the original animation back then was done by a Korean studio called ACOM.
Oh, excuse me. My apologies. My apologies.
It's okay. Any day is a good day to cut down Saban. I'm sorry.
Yeah, fuck.
That too. Yeah, fuck Hayam Saban. Well, yeah, fuck Saban and fuck Harmony Gold, if you know what that means. Yeah, mostly the original Macross and only the rights here in America. Like the original stuff is owned by a place called Big West and a bunch of other places.
Before I just want to say real quick, X-Men '97. If even if you don't really know much about X-Men, you could just watch it on Disney Plus, and it's the 5 episodes so far, the 10 episode season we're getting is some good TV.
I know.
But to answer your question, Mike, no, I actually have not watched X-Men '97 yet, but I am going to because I've been on a bit of a superhero cartoon kick because I've been on a series rewatch for its 31st anniversary of Batman the Animated Series. And I know X-Men, the cartoon, the 90s animated series, was kind of in Batman the Animated Series' footsteps because it was also like a show that took itself seriously and actually had like competent, like good, like actually good writing for a kid's cartoon. Like it wasn't just like, oh, kids are fucking stupid. Who gives a shit? They'll accept anything. Like, no, we're gonna actually try to write. We're gonna try to actually have narrative writing for for this this kid's cartoon. So
yeah, someone dies in the first episode.
Yeah, they did the original the '90s cartoon. And for all this shit I will talk about, like Hank Saban and Shuki Levy, I do actually still like the '90s X-Men cartoon, especially because of its voice cast. Because the voice acting for the X-Men cartoon was all done in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I'm a Canuck, so of course I've got to shout out my fellow favorite Canuck voice actors.
Is that the Ocean Group or a different other group?
No, the Ocean Group is Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Okay. The X-Men cartoon was done by, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So, two opposite sides of the country. But yeah, I have a big fondness for the X-Men cartoon. Plus, the X-Men cartoon led on to a bunch of fucking fantastic licensed games by Capcom. So hell yeah, of course I like X-Men 90 cartoon. But yeah, I will totally check out X-Men 97. I'm happy to hear, and I'm glad to hear, sorry, it might be a little redundant. I'm so happy to hear that it actually is, genuinely good. The animation looks super cool and weird to me. I liked how odd it looked. I was like, okay, cool. They're not just going for, generic cliche, shitty flash animation. They're trying to do something interesting with it. Awesome. I'm always happy to see that in animation, especially, TV animation. And I did see I think it was a fight scene from the first episode with Cyclops where he's, beating up a bunch of bad guys. That actually looked really good, and it's weird. I've seen a bunch of dumb takes on the internet. Yeah, I know, the internet having stupid takes, shocking off. People saying oh, the animation looks bad, and I'm like, I'm sorry, are we watching the same thing? How is
Rogue's ass is flat?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
I'm out.
How is the animation bad?
Sorry, was I too blue?
Yeah, God damn.
Oh no, I thought they did, but it's just hilarious too about that the road, but it's fine.
No, it just annoyed me because I'm like, okay, how is this bad? Words fucking mean things. When you say something is bad, you say that as a criticism. How? You have to clarify what your criticism means. Words mean things. You can't just throw a word around and just, what does that mean? Fucking clarify, motherfucker. If you're going to be a critic, you got to know what you're talking about. So, yeah, I will check out X-Men 97. It looks pretty cool. Sorry, that's the whole thing.
This is the internet. The one of the many taglines is "Get good." They're going to tell you how to get good. Just do it. What is good, really?
But Milk, what is something you've been playing?
Not a whole lot. Been pretty busy with life. You guys ever play Solitaire? That shit's pretty good.
I don't like Solitaire. Solitaire addict when I was a kid. She play whatever version she could play on the computer, on the Game Boy, or whatever. If it had Solitaire, she would play it. So
yeah, it's been tickling me. Some hearts, trying that out. And that's what I've been doing a lot of work. It's just kind of I go to break and I don't really know what to do, and I just have my work phone, and I've downloaded some of the most basic phone games that is not Marvel Snap. to
I was
just sort of
just
fill
gonna
the
say it.
time. Oh, yeah, I just thought I'd beat you to that. I have been playing some of the games a little bit here and there, especially, I mean, it's been a while since I've been on, so I can talk. But I have been playing some of the games in the Monster Prom series, and those have been pretty fun. I think they're really, like, the three of them each kind of have different bringings to the table, and each one, I think, kind of can stand on its own, but is sort of a, like, previous improvement on the last one. And the third one's a really interesting thing where, like, Monster Prom, for those who don't know, is kind of like a co-op / versus dating, like, choose your own adventure story. So it's like there's like all these cool characters and you guys are just random little PCs who are like going and building up your stats and trying to get a date for the prom or get a date for the big meteor shower at Monster Camp. Or the third one is you're just like on a big road trip, and so that's why the third one is pretty unique, because it's like, oh, we're all just in the same car and we're doing stuff, and there's a lot more of a co-op focus. But yeah, they're pretty fun little games. I think, you know, having a group of like 3 or 4 people who can handle some pretty vulgar, kinky, and, you know, like maybe violent, suggestive, like, jokes and bits, it's pretty fun.
I've heard those are actually supposed to be like really cute and charming. I've been meaning to play them. I think last I checked, they have a lot of voice actors in them that I'm like I'm very big fans of, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to check that out sometime.
Yeah, they do have a lot of like voice acting, and honestly, I've gone pretty underappreciated of it because I often like to sort of DM the voices, and so often I'm the one sort of reading to the group, doing different characters or voices. And like, there's one character his name is Juan, and he's a magical Hispanic cat. And we have one person who's Spanish. And so I like let them do it, and I do an accent as opposed to me being like, oh, let me just crack my fingers and get in here. But, you know, it's fun, I think, to just have a group of, you know, queer little neurodivergent people being like, oh, geez, how do I resolve the situation of the mermaid queen trying to assemble her fish army, but the hellish, cute, rascally demon boys wanting to eat the fish people and things like that. And you make little choices. But yeah, they're great little games, and very, you know, they're hard, honestly. I would say that. I think a lot of times trying to figure out, basically, usually it comes down to you having to make a choice between one of 2 options, and each choice is categorized into like one of like 5 or 6 stats, you know, like creativity, intelligence, charm, stuff like that. And then if you have a high enough stat, it goes well, but if you don't, it doesn't. And sometimes it can be really hard to figure out how the wording is alluding to like what's going on. But they also have like pretty good replay value by like unlocking new like items you can get and like giving you more tips as you play more rounds. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think they go on sale pretty often, especially like the first 2. So I think they're fun little games to just get and play with like 2 or 3 friends.
Got my attention. Didn't know they exist.
Yeah, they're wacky. They're very silly, very goofy, but also like they have little moments of where you're like, oh, and like in the second one, there's a robot who's like a sentient AI library bot, and now his name is Calculester, and he's like very wholesomely like, you know, naive and just trying to be friends with everybody, and it's very wholesome. And then you have like a buff blue Oni girl who wants to go back to hell and conquer it, and you're like, yeah, it's just all different types of characters here. A little bit of something for everybody.
All right. Carson, what is something you've been playing?
Geez, I've been playing a lot of stuff. I've been playing and plugging at Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Mm.
Been doing that on and off. I'm up to chapter 11, going up Nibelheim,
Okay.
pretty far into it. It's pretty fun. It's pretty good. The characters are hilarious, and you will quote everything they say almost. And it's just fun, quirky, bit different than Remake and the original. A lot of twists and turns, and I'm interested in seeing what happens all the way through.
I can't wait to play those games. Upgrading my PC is in my like near future, fingers crossed, and both those Final Fantasy games I'm going to sink my teeth into. The first one, which is already out, and the second one, which will come out whenever, probably.
And hey, the third one hopefully won't take as long.
Yeah. Also, I've been, if I could do
Sure.
multiple or wait for it, I got deep bad back into Satisfactory. It's a building a factory survival thing, like Minecraft with conveyor belts and machinery.
Okay.
I think I tried to play this. I'm just seeing if it's the game thing is. Yeah, this looks familiar. I think I tried to play this off of like, it was like a demo, like a free access at one point, and it was very intimidating. My brain was not ready. Like, I wasn't going in just being like, oh, it's Minecraft time. I'm like, I don't know what this is. And I very quickly was like, oh, there's so much going on.
When you
Complicated.
you get the term spaghetti is dropped a lot amongst the community of how your quote unquote factory will look while when you're first doing it, like all the conveyor belts and everything going to you have your resources, you mine, then you you smelt them and you put them into parts. It's all most of it's fairly automated because you can build constructors and put a specific resource in it, and it'll just craft it and move it to other crafting stuff, and like a big long line. And it gets pretty complicated, and it's still in early access, but it's on like update 8, and they announced a couple weeks ago that 1.0 is going to be dropping soon someday. So every other month or so, I get sucked in deep into it, and I always start a new map, and every time I do, so I got to start over. This time, interestingly, I found a mod pack called Satisfactory Plus that added a bunch of other stuff, like different types of minerals. There are these things called power slugs that you get all over the map that supercharge your equipment, your factory in different ways by drawing more power and building your resources faster. And this mod pack has a thing called slug hatcheries, and you can breed and make your own power slugs. And I've been trying to get that up and running, as well as another part of the mod. They add different power sources like wind, solar, and it used to be like your main power sources in the game were biomass, like trees and whatnot, then coal, then oil turning into fuel, then it gets higher. It gets higher with the ultimate power source being nuclear power. And with nuclear power, it produces nuclear waste that you can't get rid of, and it hurts you when you be near it. So you got to find a way to put them outside somewhere.
I was looking at this review, just breaking down the hours, and I was just like,
the Steam one.
Yeah, hour 275. I realized that I'm a poor planner and builder, as I don't understand the hellish creation I've constructed. Hour 280. I realize I haven't built anything on tier 7 or 8 level yet, and I'm like, oh. I have watched some videos about Factorio recently, and I find watching videos of these types of games, these like automation, simulation, building games, very satisfying to watch. I'm like, oh, look at them do the things. And if someone put the piece in my hand, I'm just like, no, thank you. You can take these back. You do something. I'll watch you make something with them and be in awe and like just kind of let my brain enjoy the efficiency that I don't have to learn.
Yeah, I almost forgot. The whole conceit is basically, the whole story is that you're a quote unquote employee sent down to a barren, to a habited planet to build a space elevator and make parts and to send up into the air. So you're all alone. There's wildlife you have to contend with, and every time you are damaged or hit, you get your AI computer say, damage to property, unacceptable.
We love the company. Just one of those games.
Yeah, basically everything is, if you are hurt, yeah, every time you're hurt, they'll just say damage to the company is called Fix It, and basically damage to company property is unacceptable.
Oh, I'm intimidated and in awe of the skills you possess, friend. That's how I'll respond.
Yeah, I've posted some videos. I've posted some screenshots of some of my old work, and yeah, it is messy to the extreme. I am not a good planner. I'll have something over here and then something over here that goes over there, that goes over there, that goes back, forth, intersect all the time. And I am not a planner or a king of efficiency of anything. So yeah, that's one of the games I've been playing and got back into hard because of a mod. And I guess I've been playing a lot. So one last thing I will kind of admit, kind of a sale limit to. I've been playing Modern Warfare 3.
Oh, wow. I was just reminded that game is like around and exists like on Steam. I think Steam's doing their FPS sale right now, and I was scrolling through all these games on sale, and it was like Modern Warfare 3, and it was like, no sale. just full price. Come on, jump in. I was like,
Hey,
Well,
they
it was
can't
on- well-
discount though.
I got it on sale on BattleNet Blizzard on their BattleNet thing.
yeah.
I think I paid like $40 for it, so I'm having fun with it. To be honest, I've always been kind of a secret FPS nut sometimes, and I don't know if it's I don't know if I upgraded my computer or my internet's better or something about the way I play, because I play with a controller, not a mouse and keyboard. But I've been doing very well, surprisingly well in game, like getting kills and whatnot in multiplayer.
All right.
I recently remember seeing, I was trying to find it. Yeah, I think it's called Battle Buddy Pack, which is a gun that talks to you. And there's just little nuggets that pass by, and I'm like, sometimes I miss this Call of Duty because this is my shit. I know it costs money, and that hurts, but I'm like, at least they went, you know what? Fuck it, we're gonna be a little goofy in here.
They have your avatars, or what they call operators, as your outside appearance, and they have added. They've added Snoop Dogg. They've added Lilith from Diablo 4, and
All right.
I think they also added a couple of Warhammer 40K people, like and also Alucard from Hellsing.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. That's a good show. All right, Kyle, what is something you've been playing? You want to mention a couple?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've been playing it actually ever since it came out, I think earlier this year, and I think February, is the Persona 3 remake on PC Game Pass. I really loved it, but I'm actually really slow in taking my time with it right now. I was actually making pretty good progress for the first month and a half. For the first month, but there was a situation with my computer where I was playing and I was making really great progress. I was a couple hours in to when I last saved, and the game crashed, and I was like, fuck! So I was really heartbroken, and I was being a total baby, and I'm like, I don't want to play anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's the mood.
But I made my progress back, and I stopped being a fucking baby. And I just need to beat the game. But I've been making a really, really great progress into it. I'm several hours in. I have almost all of the party in the game, almost all the characters. And yeah, I really liked it. I think this remake is fantastic. I'm shocked at how good it all is. Really accessible and easy to play, and it cuts the fat of all the original game, cuts the fat right off, and it's perfect. Yeah, I'm really impressed with it. It cuts out the transphobia of the original game too, which, hey, thank you, Atlas. I'm glad you're finally stopping with that fucking bullshit. This isn't the fucking crying game, for Christ's sakes. Cut that shit out, right fucking now. I am a paying customer. I am a transgender man, and hey, I'm sorry. I understand some people will get all fucking offended with me, oh, well, Japan has different culture, different... no, I'm sorry. I won't accept that type of intolerance anymore. I'm a paying fucking customer for video games. I pay my money, and I expect to not have stupid, obnoxious, oh, it's a trap, fucking transphobic meme bullshit, or any of that other fucking garbage, okay? This isn't the 80s anymore, okay? Knock that shit off, and they have. So thank you, Atlas. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Persona 3, the Persona 3 Reload is excellent. It's a total blast, and it's easy to play, it's easy to understand, easy to follow. It's a lot of fun. The RPG mechanics are great. It's simplified. Sorry, I don't mean to be redundant. It's easy to understand. It's fucking excellent. I love it. So I've been playing that. Not to go into older news, it's related to what I'm playing though. With the very, very tragic and sad passing of the wonderful artist Kira Toriyama, I started playing because I actually recently hacked my new 3DS. It's not new, but it's the new it's the new model. The new with the stupid.
Yeah, it's called new 3DS.
Is it is it the one with the nub that?
Yeah. It's not like the new 3DS XL that came out afterwards, or the 2DS XL and the 2DS. It's the new model. It's the small new model.
Right.
Anyways, that's the one I have. So anyways, I hacked it recently, which, by the way, hacking your 3DS is extremely easy. Holy shit, I was super shocked at how quick and easy it was. Anyways, yeah, I know. yeah, suck my balls. You know, like
Oh, I don't give a shit. You know that. I just like thinking of people that defend
Hi,
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
No, I know. Yeah, no, like Nintendo, you're not going to support your console anymore. You're shutting down all the online services. Like, what the fuck
when
else do you?
you're pirating, you're pirating something that doesn't exist really anymore.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
And it's not like
and
in the game that I'm pretty sure you're going to mention is not like they're going to re-release it. So
well, what the game I'm going to say is I'll say it really quickly soon, but it just like and you're expecting me to play like aftermarket prices of like full retail price of like $60 to $80 for one 3DS game and an aftermarket price. Like this is aftermarket. Like no, fuck you. I'm not going to waste all my money. Like I'm a disabled person. I barely make enough money as is to afford groceries and rent. For fuck's sakes, like you know, like I play video games to have fun. And I play video games to enjoy myself. So no, I'm not going to pay that aftermarket bullshit. Anyways, I hacked my 3DS and I started playing the really fantastic orchestral music ROM hack of Dragon Quest VIII for the 3DS. And I'm also really extremely far into that game. I've made a lot of progress into it. I'm not at the final boss yet. I'm not near it yet, but I'm still pretty far into the game and I love it. Dragon Quest VIII is fantastic. It's easily one of the best of the series. It took me a little bit to get into Dragon Quest. Not that, like, I didn't like it or anything, but it's just, like, I didn't know what ones to play. And, like, I was kind of afraid of the NES Dragon Quest games because, like, they're so kind of archaic and just, like, I thought they would be really slow. And I'm like, I don't know. And it just made me a little nervous. But I finally got on with it and I started playing them and I'm like, oh yeah, Dragon Quest is fucking awesome. These games kick ass. I love them a lot. And they're super easy to understand and I get why they took off in Japan. Like they're so accessible and easy to get and they really simplify to the greatest degree of like what RPGs are in video games. Like what are role-playing video games. And you know, those are it. And yeah, Dragon Quest VIII is fantastic. Great cast of characters. I actually have a bit of a crush on Yangus. I'm sorry, not to get too into thirst trap stuff, whatever you want to call it, or thirsty mode. But yeah, I love the cast of characters. They're all great. And yeah, Dragon Quest VIII, especially the 3DS version, is excellent. And if you hack your 3DS and you can get the orchestral music ROM hack version of it with the English and the orchestral music, hell yeah, it's fantastic. If you can't, though, don't worry about it. You can still play it, and it's still fantastic. The basic English version that came out over here. Yeah, Dragon Quest VIII on PS2 and 3DS, both fantastic games. But yeah, I've been playing that. Yeah, love Dragon Quest VIII. I love it to bits. Great game. What else? After, also kind of related to the news of, Akira Toriyama's passing, I got really sad, and I had to play like a comfort food video game just to kind of feel better. So I did a quick run of Mother 1 and Mother 2, Earthbound. And I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast before. Maybe I have. If I have, I'm sorry for being redundant, but Earthbound is my favorite video game of all time. Just flat out favorite video game of all time. And I usually play that game to feel better whenever I have like shitty news in my life or just, things are bad or, things are just not going well. I play Earthbound. So I did that. I played Earthbound and beat it. I loved it, and it was so nice to play again. And I also beat Mother 1 just to give myself a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Oh yeah, it is. It totally is. And yeah, both Mother 1 and Mother 2 are both great. Mother 1 is a bit aged, fortunately. Hasn't aged the greatest, but it's still really fun. I still love it. It still has the charm of the Earthbound series, of the Mother games. Yeah, it has the charm of it that I still like a lot. And yeah, and Earthbound's also, Earthbound is a flat-out masterpiece, and it's my favorite game of all time. I love it, so I played that. What else?
Well, to be fair, Kyle, you did say it on a recording, but the recording that you said it on hasn't released yet. So
okay, all right.
It's yes and no to answer your question.
Well, shit, I'm sorry to
At the time of this, when this releases, you have just said.
Of course. Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I do apologize then for spoiling it for viewers. My apologies. But Earthbound is my favorite video game of all time, so congratulations, y'all know that now. But yeah, I've been playing that. I played that as well recently. Let's see here. I also started Chrono Trigger in honor of Akira Toriyama. I have played Chrono Trigger before, but I've never beaten it. I've made
which
different
version?
amounts. I played. I'm actually playing once again a ROM hack. I know the standard Super Nintendo version of Chrono Trigger is fine. I'm playing a version, I believe called Chrono Trigger, Plus. It's the same game, but like with some extra bonus content at the end from like other versions of Chrono Trigger. And I'm a bit far into it. I'm in the future right now. I'm just making my way through the future part of the world. And yeah, Chrono Trigger kicks ass. The game really kicks ass.
The version you're playing, I know what the ROM hack, I know what Chrono Trigger, but they added some of the stuff from the DS, but I don't think they weren't able to add everything. But
yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You're not missing a whole lot, to be very honest with you.
No, of course. Yeah, that's fine. I also have Chrono Trigger on my DS as well, because, of course, like, I'll have Chrono Trigger on the go. Hell yeah. But yeah, Chrono Trigger.
The DS version is very good. They added some unnecessary dungeons.
Yeah.
But it's more game, so I can't really complain.
No, of course, yeah. But I also have Chrono Trigger on the DS on the go, because, it's Chrono Trigger on the go, so hell yeah. Like, Chrono Trigger is, once again, another masterpiece. Dragon Quest, Earthbound, Chrono Trigger, all masterpieces. Just all great games, and I've been playing all of those. This is just a total comfort food right now, in honor of Akira Toriyama. And here's the thing, I'm not even, like, honestly that big of a fan of Dragon Ball. I never kind of was, but, like, I do still really like Dragon Ball. There's a lot of things about Dragon Ball that I really love, even though I'm not, like, the biggest fan of it, like, overall, as odd as that sounds. And I love and respect the works of Akira Toriyama. I mean, like...
I would suggest you... the early parts are iffy, but you should really watch the Dragon Ball Z Abridged series.
No, thank you. I never liked any of those abridged shows. I kind of liked Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged when I was like 16, but I was fucking stupid. I was a stupid kid, so no, thank you. Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. Just
no.
You.
I understand. And
I know a lot of the voice actors for GBZ Abridged are kind of have done some scummy things that I'm not a fan of, so I'm just like, no, I don't want to deal with that. Like, I just, no thank you. Not trying to shut you down or anything. I do love it, and actually, I started reading I know this isn't playing, I'm actually currently started reading the Dr. Slump manga in honor of Akira Toriyama. It's, Dr. Slump's good stuff. It's good classic, dumb, wacky, shonen comedy. It's good stuff. Yeah, and also, something I wanted to mention before the subject matter we brought up Dragon Ball Z Abridged, the Dragon Quest slime, like specifically the Dragon Quest slime, like the blue slime, that's probably my favorite piece of, like, art ever, like video game art. Like, that's probably my favorite piece of video game art ever created, is the Dragon Quest slime. Like, either the Dragon Quest slime or the cute little UFO from Earthbound. Like, those are, like, my two favorite pieces of video game art ever created. Like, the Dragon Quest slime is just so adorable and cute and cuddly, and, like, it's perfect. Like, Akira Toriyama took the super boring, bog standard slime, like, that was just like, oh, it's the slime, whatever, and he made it into this, like, just so relentlessly charming, cute avatar. Like, that man was so brilliant. Rest in peace. My God. I love the Dragon Quest slime so much. And, I'm currently playing a few other games, but they're related to future shows, so I won't say anything more about them. But yeah, that's, just about all that I've been playing recently. Is there anything else? I've been playing my fighting games that I have. I've been playing Street Fighter 6 a bit, and I've also been playing Tekken 8 quite a bit too, since Tekken 8 came out in late January. Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 are both fantastic. Especially Street Fighter 6, that's a great return to form for Capcom and Street Fighter. Tekken 8 has just been a fantastic sequel for the Tekken series.
Yeah, I play those. I play those too, and I also play King of Fighters 15. Oh yeah,
I'm a little iffy about SNK at the moment because of the whole thing with Saudi.
Oh, they deal with Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. I'm kind of just like a little like, oh, I don't know if I want to support SNK anymore. Then shit.
No, that's fair. I mean,
but I
would never. I was going to say, don't ever travel to Saudi Arabia, Kyle.
Yeah. But I do have King of Fighters 15, and 15's fantastic. I also loved King of Fighters 14. I'm happy that SNK has made such a big redemption song of their career, of the history of SNK. I'm glad they've had such a big redemption song for their video games, because I love classic SNK, and I'm happy to see them back in action.
You up for the new Fatal Fury?
Yes, I am, but like I said, I don't know if I can support it. I don't know if I can financially support it, because, once again, the whole Saudi thing.
Other ways to play games without buying them eventually.
I know. But, like, here's the thing, though. If I get it, like, if I download it, like, it won't have online, and I want online for it.
Good
That's
point.
the thing. But yeah, I am super eager to check out the new Fatal Fury. That looks excellent. But yeah, I've also been playing, my typical fighting games because I love fighting games. And yeah, Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 are both still fantastic. Just excellent games. And that's, I think, pretty much what I've been playing so far the past month and a half now. But yeah, that's me.
Okay. Milk, any other games you want to mention?
Yeah, I think a few little notes I wanted to touch on. My partner's also getting ready to hack their 3DS. They actually just bought, what is it? It was a Kingdom Hearts specialty 3DS. I can't remember which one. One of the games. It's all like sleek and
Dream Drop
shiny.
Distance.
Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds. Yeah, I think you're right. So that'll be neat because
I
I'm
am
excited.
right.
Are you sure it isn't 2x3.8 something power to
That's
the
only
negative
DS.
third?
If it's
Oh.
There's 358 by 2 days, and there's Kingdom Hearts Recoded of the other 2 DS games, but those are both only on DS, not 3DS.
Yeah, and then they start getting wacky. Like I can see both sides of the fence and appreciate both. They're like, I think Cage gets a lot of shit that doesn't deserve. But at the same time, 358 over 2 and Ultima. I don't remember all the collection names. A little too many. Like it's a little silly how often they are like, you know what? It's gonna be part 2 Redux. It's just a little bonus pre-3 DLC story. But that's fine. It's its own thing.
You want to open this can of worms, Milk?
No, like I said, I can go both sides and I can appreciate both. Like, yeah, sometimes I have to look at my partner. Kingdom Hearts is their fixation, nothing else. I think it means to them in terms of meaning as much as Kingdom Hearts. And I sometimes be like, yeah, sometimes these stories, while great in their own way, can get a little hard to access when they do things like going, you know what? Big 3DS game, big DS game. It's going to be crucial to the story. Oh, you're playing Kingdom Hearts 2 now? Are you confused? No, that's unfortunate. Well, we're going to keep trucking now. It's fine.
Chain of Memories, the Game Boy Advance one, is what you need to play between 1 and 2 because it explains a lot of what happens in 2. 358 by 2 days is what one of the characters from 2 is doing before 2, but you don't really need to play it. Recoded is just blah. It's a fun game, but
Didn't you
no
go
story.
through these recently? Isn't this where this is coming from for the podcast?
I'm doing all the Kingdom Hearts games on the show, by the way. So
How far have you gotten?
we are at, where the fuck are we at? We're just actually about to do the World Ends With You because they told me that we should, and then we are covering. What was the last one? And then we're doing Dream Drop Distance in May, and then 3 in November.
Assuming none of the phone games like Cheat and Cross.
Yeah, we are, by the way.
Oh,
We're watching
good.
videos, but we're going to be talking about them.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I can't wait for you to get to some points where some of these games come back, because that was one of the games in particular you mentioned. I always was like pretty sour about. Like, what a pointless entry. Like, it's fun, but at least story-wise, it didn't matter at all. Yep, but then apparently
The gameplay's fun.
Apparently, spoiler
don't
is
mean
going to
much
come
of
back.
gameplay.
So good thing you played Recoded, because at some point it's going to come back in a big way. And I still don't fully understand how, but I know when it happens.
Well, there is a scene in it that actually continues the story, but let's not go there.
It's a drop in the hat. Listen, I could read a nugget. I could read a journal entry and go, oh, neat. But yeah, we can listen. We're approaching an edge. Let's walk back. We'll go somewhere else. I actually haven't been playing Dead by Daylight, and I have very mixed feelings about it. No, I have not. Yeah, I've been busy, but beyond that, that game, there's many things. I think one of the main ones is that the mobile version of Dead by Daylight has all these different events and like wacky game modes. They had like a prop hunt thing they did recently. And for April Fools, the console version got a like temporary 1 or 2 day game mode where there's a giant, one of the enemies he's called the Oni, and he's like a samurai in like an Oni mask, and they made him giant and everyone really small, and it was like, I thought it was really neat. Like, it's not something I was like, oh, I'd play this for hours, but as a fun little one-off, it was neat. But it does make me sad that sort of Dead by Daylight, it seems like they're always alluding that there's significant things coming up, and they're just always, it's very carrot and stick. It's like, coming one day, maybe, but I have a hard time enjoying that game without people these days. It's just, there's not enough there besides be like, yep, I recognize this. I've been here before. Being, camped on a pallet or someone's just letting me bleed out on the ground. Yep, it's all the same. And I mean, yeah, the community, it's very visceral, like on itself, where it's like they've been reducing some of the like weirder, older, ancient, unintentional mechanics that exist. And then so like long-term fans or, diehards are like, well, now I can't take this character and run him off walls when normally he's supposed to bounce off walls for high-tech stuff. And it's like, it's an interesting community at every level. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Anyway, But I have been playing Persona 3, and as a person who beat Persona 5 and 5 Royale and most of 4, I'm happy to say I'm sticking with 3 a little more. I'm also pretty far into it. I think I just got to a pretty, like, one of the big story beats that was a thing, and I don't know how the plot goes at all, so I'm really excited to find out what keeps happening as time goes on. But I did just find out an interesting little nugget for people who maybe are playing Persona 3 and
I think I'm about to ask about this. The leaks.
I don't know about the leaks. I don't know anything about that.
That they're
but-
going to remake 1 and 2.
Oh, I have been hearing stuff. I don't know about 1 and 2, but I think other ones have been like confirmed. Like 4 is supposedly happening in
I
Are we
love-
making 4?
Yeah,
I mean, that old.
I think
It's- I think it's
Sorry,
about
go
the engine and like touching. It's putting it in Persona 5's engine.
Oh,
Because
Okay.
they're doing so well. Like 3, I think, was their fastest selling game. The 3 remake in a long time. So they're like, you know what? Let's just keep trucking. Yeah.
pure nostalgia for myself. I think the Persona 1 is one of my favorite Personas because it was the first one I ever saw. The really bad translation that changed one of the races of one of the main characters.
And that's kind of, I mean, we're talking about how Atlas is sort of doing things different. And I'm curious if I hadn't heard 1 and 2. 1 and 2 was a lot. And so I'm curious about that. But 4, I don't know how they could do 4 with a particular character and how they handle that. And I don't really. It kind of reminds me of Resident Evil 5. I don't think I'd want you to, honestly. I don't think you're going to go in and do something and I'm going to go, yes, that was the right
Remade,
choice.
I'm
Resident Evil 5 was just kind of a bad game in general, and I'm not even talking about like the racism. Like,
See, I don't live on that hill, but I do live on a hill of like, it didn't have to go there, but because it did, it then had to make choices. And regardless of this point, like, I don't think you can do this well anymore.
like totally. Like, I mean, I'm on the camp of like, I think the game is just genuinely bad. But like, even if they could remake it and like polish the gameplay up a bit, like, I'm like, how are they gonna dance around like? Are they like? Would they just dance around the subject? Like, what are they gonna do? Because like, there is some like really flat out like, no, that's actually really fucking racist moments. I'm like, how the fuck are they gonna do that again? Like,
Yeah,
what?
so Persona 4, a character who is trans, full stop, and to some degree, and then it just goes with one single throwaway line of like, hey, that's not really how you feel. Oh shit, you're right. It's not. Spoilers for Persona 4. I'm sure maybe said
I
that
know
a
who you're
second
talking
sooner.
about.
that's how queer people act. Like, you're like,
Yeah. Somebody right now will be like, hey, am I sure? And I'm going to go, shit, you're right. I'm going to walk around.
like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. Like, what?
Time to throw all my drugs in the trash. See ya.
Okay.
So, Persona 3, yay. I don't know about the future. We can stay here for a little bit. And I'll just see what Atlas decides I want to do.
Curious to see how they could. What would they do with 4? Like, I'm really curious.
Yeah, I'm curious to see more of 3, but there's similar plot overarching feelings between 3 and 4 that I wasn't expecting. And I'm kind of like, I don't want to say it's a little tiresome, but it was interesting to be like, oh, we're kind of doing this thing again in a way that, I don't know, 5 to 4 I didn't see as much, but it's interesting. Beyond that, I think Fortnite, surprisingly, that started happening, but I'm kind of falling off it. But I do think Fortnite is interesting.
Oh, the rock
still-
band thing of it, right?
Yeah, that was the big thing, and I've kind of started doing more of the like battle royale. But
Car racing
Yeah.
game. That's also now in Fortnite. The car racing game. That looks
And-
pretty
Oh,
fun.
yeah, the
And
Lego
Lego
Fortnite.
Minecraft. Yeah. I kind of like when I started playing it for the Rock Band microtransaction edition. And I kind of dabbled in all of them, and I've still will boot up the Rock Band one because they have free daily rotating songs. I refuse to buy a song. I am very excited by that guitar, which finally got announced at a price and then sold out. But I'm excited by it.
They are doing a Avatar: The Last Airbender event right
Yep.
now.
And it's interesting. That's what's kind of like why I think I keep gravitating back towards the Battle Royale mode is because I don't like the building. I like that they did eventually, over its time span, went, hey, you know what? We're just going to make a non-build mode for people. And so that
Yeah, I
allows
love
me
the
to keep...
non-build mode. It's zero build. I
Yeah.
run all the time.
So I keep going back in, and I really like some like the crossover stuff they do with things, and I appreciate it for that. And I think regardless, it's interesting to know that whenever at some point I want to go back to Rock Band, it's like, okay, cool, now I can be Zuko jamming out to Smells Like Teen Spirit, where he apparently always belonged in my heart.
That is fair.
And
I'm
I
glad
think-
that guitar exists. I just wish because there might be other ones, and then I could eventually do my dream of playing Guitar Hero PS2 on my PC with a USB guitar. So
I could see it. I
Yeah.
think especially because they're going to make one that's a lot more oriented. I think they're making one for PCs and one for consoles.
that Madcast doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think it will be.
There's
Yeah.
you heard about Clone Hero? It's
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
the open source one for PCs.
Yeah, and that's I think the reason I'm really excited is at some point I have a feeling I really am going to fall off of Microtransaction Hero, and I'll be excited to then download and set up a lot of the old Rock Band songs and just play those on this nice, fresh new plastic guitar.
Those things are worth a lot of money. So I'm, because they stopped existing. So I'm glad they're coming back.
Yeah, and I think the price point they came out with, which I think was like 120 or 100, I was pretty like okay
120.
with. And I was like, I'm okay with it. It's about what I was expecting based on all the minor stuff they leaked about it before or talked about. So I'm like, whatever. But the last game I think I'll mention real quick before we move on, if there's nothing else, of course, is a little plug. Little plug never hurts. I've been playing some Dead Rising. We chop till you drop. Mike, good news. I hate Dead Rising 1 finally. Yay, your dreams have come true.
That game's bad, huh?
It's not great. I don't hate it. I think there's a thing is like, imagine, we talk about some of our favorite games. Imagine your favorite game you've played hundreds, if not thousands of hours, and then suddenly it's different. And it's like, not like a different mod. It's like an official release different in a way that's really weird. So there's a part of me that I think appreciates something fresh because it's not like a sequel where it's it's the Frank West. It's essentially the same plot. But there's all these just weird things where suddenly it's like, oh yeah, that one psychopath you kill, it's the exact same cutscene, except now it cuts to black, and now he's a shop guy, and you can go buy and upgrade guns. And also, hey, what if we introduced a parrot? Because now you're aiming like it's Resident Evil 4 in the Wii, so you gotta have an excuse to aim up. So here's zombie parrots. And there's like...
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, and so I think, I don't love it, but I think getting to experience it for that is interesting. In the original Dead Rising, there is a underground parking area that you can go and just mow down zombies in a car, and technically it could allow you to travel between certain areas of the mall faster. But it's mainly for like just plot stuff. It's there. Again, logistically, the map of Dead Rising 1 doesn't make any sense, but we don't have to talk about that right now. But in this one, because it's on the Wii and they don't have the same level of hardware, you go up to it and there's like a terminal you can interact with, and it asks, hey, do you want to spend money? Which money wasn't even in the original release of this game. It's like, okay, you want to spend some money and we'll give you a cart or a car or a skateboard. And then it's like, yeah. And then you just drive around there until it breaks. And then a text box comes up and Frank goes, oh, that's too dangerous. I got to get out of here. And then you just go back up and that's it. That's all you do. And there's interesting, weird choices, but I think either tomorrow or the next day, I'll probably be playing on stream some more. It's Space Built Cutie at Twitch, which I'll play again later. But yeah, if anyone's curious about that, give me a follow and I'll just pop up and you can see more of that because it's something. That's for sure.
I remember us talking about it, and I remember looking at it, but weirdest thing, I have no desire to play another Dead Rising game right now at all.
Mike, I'll keep talking about it. We'll get you up for 2. We'll get you there.
How about 3 and 4? Right, Mel?
Well, if that's what it takes, Mike.
Something. I mean, I
will
bought
hurt
2
me.
multiple times. I should play 2. We'll see.
Yeah, 2 is
Maybe
fine.
next. Won't be this coming up Spooktober because that's already booked, but maybe next one. We'll see.
Oh, hey, listen, maybe it just isn't in a Spooktober. Maybe it's just a fun 4 is very Christmassy. We could do 4, just jump ahead.
The whole year
Get
is
real
full, by the
weird
way.
with it.
Little interest.
Oh, it's better than no interest. Making waves.
And I'll just bring up some TV shows I watched and I'm going to mention quick, then we'll get back to that. So I watched the Avatar live action season 1 on Netflix. It's actually good. It's actually really good. It got me to want to rewatch Avatar, and we watched season 1 and season 2, and we're currently on season 3, me and my wife, and that show's still really good. But the live action is a very good job of taking the first season, breaking it down a little bit, making a few changes, but it's very well done, and I recommend it. Even if you weren't a fan of Avatar, like you've never seen the show, I think you can go in that live action and get everything you need and still really enjoy it. Even if you are a fan of the show, I think you can still really enjoy it. Any of you guys watched it?
I haven't, but I've heard a lot, and I'm really glad that it is how it is, and it was kind of received that way. I just remember before it came out, there was a lot of anxiety and like people getting very nervous and like, oh, this is it. It's going to be garbage. And I was like, can we all just wait and just see how it is?
Netflix does make mistakes, sure.
They do. Yeah. But like, when it was like, I forget what it was. There was some news like, oh, I forget what it was. Oh, that Aang wasn't going to go on as many wacky adventures because of like, mostly, honestly, it's probably they don't have the time to fit it all in. And everyone's like, this is it. The end of this is why it's going to be bad. And it's like, can we breathe? Let's all just take a breath here.
Honestly, there's enough because it feels like a real life thing. Like you wouldn't just be, hey, the world's gonna end and the Nazis are gonna kill everybody, but let's go have a day at the bathtub. We'll just go hang out in the springs and talk. Like I get it, but it's I really like the live action season 1. I thought it was extremely well done.
Also, like, yeah, it's not like, hey, we gave Aang a gun, like Shadow the Hedgehog. It's like, it's not any choice that drastic, where it's like, okay.
Who is being played by Keanu Reeves?
I know! That was the first thing I was going to bring up when we got to movies and TV. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I stand Shadow. Oh, I love Shadow so much. My boy, he deserves the best, and he gets killed.
I was going to say my last game I've been playing, I quote-unquote found a way to play some old DOS games, old DOS PC games and whatnot. And I just started playing an old point-and-click adventure game called Tex Murphy and the Pandora Directive.
Okay, never heard of it, but
it's part of a series that's part FMV, part walk around and in first person and find clues and whatnot. It's a very quirky series. There was a new one that came out in the mid 2010s called Tesla Effect, and it really hooked me because the character of Tex Murphy is himself as a bumbling noir detective in the future San Francisco 2042, where everything is back to the old 40s and everything. And everything's crime noir and everything with a lot of humor thrown in.
Bling and old FMV video games just fits together really well, and that makes me really happy because, man, that stuff it's something to look at still. Night Watch, where they re-release that on Switch and things.
I'm always happy when stuff gets re-released.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I started that and might play through it again because I think I played through it once. Never really finished it, but as I said, the new one that came out hooked me with the series and everything. So I've been playing those old DOS games and whatnot.
And Kyle, what are some shows or movies you want to mention?
Well, let's see here. For shows, let's see here. I mentioned it a little earlier when X-Men 97 was brought up. I started this in August of last year, 2023, but in honor of its 31st anniversary, I've been watching the entire series of Batman, the animated series. I'm still doing it. Just about finished with the first season, which I believe was about 65 episodes. So I'm just about finished with that. I'm excited to watch more of it and watch more episodes and just really finish the series. I've really, really, really been loving it. Batman the Animated Series is just phenomenal. It's such a masterpiece of a show. It really was above all of the other, kids' cartoons of the 90s, especially the early 90s and the late 80s. Man, I can't sing enough praises about it. It's so good. It really made you empathize for so many different characters. I mean, the fact that Batman was played by a gay guy and fucking, just killed it. Kevin Conroy, rest in peace. What a fucking great actor.
Mm-hmm.
And just great performance. This might be a little controversial of, movie and comic nerds and all that shit, but I'm sorry, Kevin Conroy is my favorite Batman and favorite Bruce Wayne.
Mask of the Phantasm is the best Batman movie.
Oh, and it is. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for saying that. Thank you, Carson. 100% agree. Mask of the Phantasm is fantastic, and yeah, that's easily my favorite Batman movie ever made. Just flat out favorite Batman movie, not just animated movie or recent Batman movie or whatever Batman movie. No, just Batman movie ever made. Mask of the Phantasm is my favorite. I love Mask of the Phantasm so much. Yeah, Batman the Animated Series is just so fucking fantastic. The writing, especially for a kid's cartoon, is fucking outstanding. A+, 10 out of 10. I can't believe how smartly written it is, too. And, it makes you really understand people. And, you empathize for, the villains. My Batman, not to go on a big, ranty crusade, but, my Batman was gay. and my Batman had empathy for the villains. Like my Batman wanted to actually help people. My Batman cared. Batman the Animated Series is just fucking stupendous. I can't sing enough praises, but I will. I'll just go on forever. I'm really loving the rewatch I'm doing of it. What else I'm watching is, I've been on a big anime kick since, once again, actually, of last year in 2023, early 2023. I was kind of going through a bit of a burnout of anime. I'm like, oh, I'm not watching anything new, and I'm a little afraid of that. Like, I'm a little worried. I'm like, do I even like anime anymore? And then I listened to some old podcasts of a friend of mine who I've always really admired. He was a critic, a professional critic for Anime News Network. He had a podcast that he actually used to host for Anime News Network called Ancast. His name was...
Zach Birchie?
Yes, thank you. Holy shit, that was really creepy timing of you. Holy shit, that's perfect.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I know. Yes, rest in peace. Sorry to cut to the chase. He passed away in 2020. And myself and so many others were very heartbroken over the news. And
I remember his interview with Carl Masick.
Yes, that is a legendary fucking interview. That was fantastic. Like, I gained so much perspective from that interview of like, oh, I never thought of it like that. Like, whoa. But yeah, it's all, which, by the way, people, if you want to, all of this stuff is still up on the internet. Just look up Ancast Podcast and go on the Anime News Network website. Like, it's all archived. It's all up there for you to listen to, and it's fantastic. The Carl Masick interview is fantastic. Anyways, but my point with this is that I started listening to a couple of old episodes of Ancast, and I was like, I don't know, listening to Zach again after he passed, it was just like, oh, you know what? No, I do love anime. I really, really do love anime. I've loved anime all my life, and I needed that kick in the ass. Like, I needed that fire. I needed that fire lit under me of like, oh my god, whoa, I do love anime. Okay, holy shit. I needed that boost of life again. I just needed that shot in the arm of like, okay, whew, all right, I'm back again. I'm back. Let's do this. So I've been on a huge anime kick the past year and a half now, and I've actually been watching quite a few anime right now. I'm currently watching a show that actually aired last season in the fall, I believe is when it aired in 2023. And it's called I'm in Love with the Villainess. It's this really it's this really, really adorable and hilarious gay show. It's super queer. It's this woman who works a office job, and she's just kind of in a soulless life of just like, yep, wake up in the morning, go to work, fucking whatever. And she plays this plays this adventure game where you have to romance one of these princes, but she doesn't give a shit about any of these princes. She's in love with one of the female characters in this game, this like hoity-toity woman character. Well, while playing the game, she gets zapped in and sucked into the game. So it becomes an isekai, which is like that type of that fantasy type of series where like the character gets sucked into the world, which has become kind of a popular thing of anime over the past like 30 years. But yeah, it's an isekai, but it's so smartly written and hilarious and just like genuinely sweet and genuinely funny. It's not like secretly homophobic or anything. Like the main character is a good character. She's really funny and hilarious. She's hilarious and she's smartly written, and you really, really empathize for her as a queer person. And you can tell that the love she feels for this character is so genuine, and it's wonderful. It's called, once again, the series is called I'm in Love with the Villainess, and it's a great anime. You can watch it on Crunchyroll. You can also find it by other means. I'm not going to say how or whatever. You can do that. Yeah, check it out on Crunchyroll if you got Crunchyroll. And any other way you can watch it, watch it. It's a great series. I've watched it twice in Japanese and in English, and both languages are excellent. They're hilarious.
Yo ho, matey. I wish I had liked it more. I watched about half of it. I just kind of fell off. And I think it was like good. Like I wasn't like, oh, it's bad. It just wasn't for me. And it made me a little sad.
I can totally get that. I can totally get that. I've had that with other anime myself, and where other people loved it, and I was just like, I thought it was just kind of milquetoast. I'm sorry. But yeah. I'm in Love with the Villainess. Another show I'm watching actually aired a couple of years ago in 2021, I believe. It's a really extremely clever show, really smartly written, kind of a Twin Peaks, almost like mystery, just really shady stuff, and it's really clever. It's called Odd Tech.
I know that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really neat show. It's so it's set in like a modern day Japan, like in Tokyo, like in this big city. But trick is all the characters are anthropomorphized animals. Like they're just straight up animals. Like the main character is a walrus who drives the taxi, and there's these other animal characters, and they start to get to know each other, but they all have like mysteries about them, and it's so clever. I'm midway through the series, and I'm not going to say anything or spoil anything. I'm going to leave it all to you if you want to check it out. It's called Odd Taxi. ODDTAXI. Odd Taxi. Great series. One of the better modern anime out there right now. It's out on Crunchyroll as well. It has great Japanese audio and great English. There have been some really impressive English dubs over the past couple of years, I gotta say. They've really been really acing their stuff. And it's amazing, too, because, like, I know for, especially during when the pandemic was really bad, a lot of people were like recording from their homes, and I'm like, Jesus, they're still able to like really put in like good performances. I'm really impressed. But yeah, Odd Taxi is excellent. What else have I been watching? I think that might actually be about it. I'm just trying to make sure I remember everything. That's about it for TV stuff I've been watching. There hasn't been anything like North American television wise that I've been interested in at the moment. Nothing's kind of grabbed me. I don't know. So that might change in the next month or so.
Okay.
I don't know. Would you allow possible like quick movie stuff too? Because I've seen a few movies that I really loved. I saw in theaters recently. Came out in March. It's a really cool neo-noir mystery. Well, not a mystery, just a very kind of intriguing and intriguing neo-noir film called Love Lies Bleeding. It's a really awesome gay romance movie about these two women bodybuilders, and they fall in love. And it was just fantastic. I loved this shit out of the movie. It's Kristen Stewart and I can't remember the other actor's name at the current moment.
Katie O'Brien?
Yeah, Katie O'Brien. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. Katie
Google told me. I didn't know.
She's also in there. Yes, Katie O'Brien. She's fantastic as well. Both actors are just incredible. And like, I've always been a secret Kristen Stewart lover and supporter and
like her too.
Even in like Twilight. Like, I never really cared about Twilight because like I was gifted the first book when I was like a teenager. I think I was 16 when I got the first book. I read a little bit of it and I was like, whatever. And then the first movie came out when I was 18 years old, and I just, like, I kind of didn't care. I was like, yeah, whatever, Twilight. No, like, I fucking love Kristen Stewart. She's such a good actor, and I'm so happy now that she's in so much, like, good stuff now. Like, now the world really knows her as a good actor, and I'm so happy. And same with Robert Pattinson. He's also in, like, a lot of weird shit and cool, just odd movies. But yeah, anyways, Love Lies Bleeding was just fantastic. I loved it a lot. I also saw Lisa Frankenstein. It was okay. I was expecting a lot better, to be honest, and I was kind of sad. It's the directorial debut of the one and only Zelda Williams, the daughter of Robin Williams. This is her directorial debut, and I was pretty excited about that. I like what she did in her directorial status for this movie, but I just thought the movie itself was just kind of like, I don't know, like, it's all aesthetic and not much else. And I love the aesthetic, but I don't know, I thought like it would really do a lot more than what it did. And it's written by Diablo Cody, and I am a pretty decently big fan of Diablo Cody. I loved Juno when I was younger. I still love Juno, still a solid movie. And Elliot Page is fantastic in Juno, and Michael Cera is also really good in Juno. And yeah, Juno's good stuff. I was also a huge fan of Jennifer's Body. I mean, I am a queer, transgender, asexual man. I'm an intersex-born, transgender, asexual man. So of course I fucking Jennifer's Body. I'm queer.
That's the one with Megan Fox, right?
Megan Fox and shit. I can't remember the other. Amanda Seyfried, I believe. Amanda Seyfried is the other.
Okay, I remember it came out. I never saw it. I just remember it existed.
Jennifer's Body kicks ass. And brilliantly directed by Karen Kusama, who's become such an awesome director in her own right. She's done some really good movies. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, I was a little let down by Lisa Frankenstein, but I think the movie will impress a lot of young people, and I think it'll become their favorite thing, which that makes me happy. I'm like, hell yeah, I hope it does. I hope it becomes that next popular cult thing for younger people. But yeah, I also, what else have I been watching for movie stuff? I've also watched, check my reviews. Actually, that's actually just about it for all the films I've watched. But yeah, those are the films I watched as well. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've been watching the past month and a half so far.
I have been last weekend, I think it was 2 weekends ago. No, it was last weekend. Yeah, it was last weekend. I watched WrestleMania 40.
Nice.
And it was awesome. It's so good right now. Wrestling is so good right now. now that Vince McMahon is just gone. Like,
Oh yeah, they got rid of him, didn't they? Or he got
Yeah.
rid of himself or whatever.
Yeah, he's not. He's not part of the company anymore. It's all it's all the Paul Levesque Triple H era right now, and the main event of the last day was just spectacular.
I'm glad. I don't watch wrestling, but I know people enjoy it, so I'm glad that it's better now without him.
I think most things in life would be better without him. Huh?
He's a
What?
shit, so, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel similarly about wrestling. I have a lot of respect and reverence for it, and so that's why it's like when I hear things that happen in the industry, I'm like, good for the industry, and then I just kind of keep moving.
Yeah, I don't watch it, but I pay attention to people that talk about it. That's about it.
I watch it. I watch it sometimes when I can on TV, but I do keep up with everything with AEW and all the little secrets and whatnot of the business and everything. And I watch podcasts, I watch reactions, Cultaholic. OSW is one of my favorite wrestling podcasts of all time. Old School Wrestling Reviews podcast. Three Irish lads just watching and reviewing old pay-per-views and just thrashing Hulk Hogan as the cunt he is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's not a good person.
Yeah. Even in the beginning, even in Hulkamania, he was just a big asshole.
Not surprising.
So yeah, go ahead. That's all.
Okay. Did you have anything to mention?
I'm curious, is Macho Man still cool? No, we haven't found anything bad about Macho Man, right?
He's still cool.
Oh, thank God. If I lost Macho Man status, I might be pretty sad.
Oh, he's still cool.
Once again, rest in peace. Great wrestler. I was always because my brother was such a huge fan of him. I was always fond of Bret Hart. I love Bret Hart, and my brother loves Bret Hart. So we were both the Bret Hart fans. I also enjoyed. I know he was a bit of a controversial figure. He's done some stuff that kind of doesn't look too cool today because it just hasn't aged too well. But Roddy Piper, because I loved Roddy Piper, and of course the guy was from my hometown of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. So fuck yeah, another rest in peace. But fuck yeah, Roddy Piper.
Yeah, Piper's cool.
Oh, man. One day maybe I'll find some way into wrestling, but I always appreciate bits that come into my life, whether it's via people or some random feed where I'm like, oh, this was good. I was thinking about what I've been watching, and it hasn't been much myself. I mentioned like one or two things. I have been slowly going through Owl House with a partner of mine, with a little friend, and it's as amazing as I've heard it is. And so I'm really happy to finally be watching it. I've realized, even though I've always loved anime, I've never really been one to sit down and just watch anime. I'm always one to often just watch a YouTube video, or I will also shout out Dropout, who's formerly known as College Humor. They're still great, and they're doing so many amazing things.
I love Actually.
Yeah, actually, that's the thing I love on that platform is there's many things that aren't for me. I've never been a big fan of actually, but Game Changer, I think Game Changer is amazing, and it's one of my favorite pieces of media. I think it's currently being made by some random. I almost want to call them. They're indie, but they're very much their own entity at this point.
That one episode where it was Escape Room.
Yeah, and I mean they just have so many wonderful people like Brendan Lee Mulligan, Allie, and all these people. It's really, as I've heard someone sort of in some recent episode of Game Changer, not critiquing but giving Sam Reich shit, or just being like, this is just a way for you to get your friends on here and make them do funny things and pay them for it. And he's like, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, that's kind of what this is at this point. And I think that's a very wholesome thing. So, Dropout, I think is totally worth checking out. I think it's just something for everybody. I've been going through their second series for their main D&D show, Dimension 20. And I've been really enjoying that. To watch the junior year, the third year they've done for it. And then other shows, I've also been kind of dabbling in anime. I'll talk about the one I don't like as much because it's really interesting. I've been very much wanting to get into more Yuri media with anime and manga. And so I've been struggling to find types of Yuri content that I really enjoy because a lot of Yuri tropes that are often in Yuri things I don't love, like slow burn and sort of a lot of gay panic, which is I think historically there's a lot of understandable precedent for it, but it's just not my cup of tea when I'm consuming media.
Can I suggest Utena?
Which Utena?
Revolutionary Girl Utena, the anime and the movie.
Revolutionary Girl Utena kicks.
I think I'm pretty sure I've seen this one in searching because you basically, I do the search, popular or prominent Yuri anime, and the art for this looks familiar, but I appreciate that recommendation. I've written it down. One I would not probably recommend that I see a lot of is called Yuri Is My Job. And it's interesting. It's like I started watching it with a friend, and it's basically the plot is it's supposed to be basically a cafe that the background plot of what's going on is it's like a cafe where there's a drama series happening, and the drama setting of the cafe is high school students in this very prestigious, pompous, like academy, all girls academy, and exploring their feelings and having these moments of like, oh, you're my younger student, I have to guide you. But what's happening in the actual anime is it's the like manager of that cafe blackmailed somebody into joining the cafe of this like character who's also inherently not a very good person, because her whole thing is like having this false persona to try to convince a rich man to marry her. And she gets entrapped into this like job, and she starts doing it, and then I think she starts getting feelings for a character, but then it's like, is it real? Is it in the fiction? What's going on? And there's like, I've gotten through like 5 episodes, and I was like, I don't really like media where I feel like at the end of the day, I'm like, do I like any of these characters? Are any of these characters like good or redeemable? And I've hit that point with this, but I'm so sickeningly curious of like, I want to know where this goes, but every episode's hard because like the main, I think, love interest of the protagonist is very irritated with the protagonist all the time. But then you find out, of course, they have a back history, and that just came up, and I'm like, this is so interesting, and it's so like, I love seeing the over dramatization of a Yuri plot in a cafe setting. Like, that's hilarious to be like, have these just completely over the top, like, oh, I can't believe you. I'll have to teach you extra hard now, but it's only because I care about you and I love you so much as my little, younger kohai. And it's like, and then all the cafe goers are like, oh, and they get all excited, and you're just like, oh, they all hate each other. It's like a real job. This is great. But yeah, it's a very mixed bag. But I see it brought up a lot, which is why I want to talk about it a little bit, because I'm like, it's something.
Another suggestion I would suggest to you, even though it's you might like, well, I'll just go on and say it. The new Gundam, Witch from Mercury, there's a really good Yuri relationship in that show.
Was that the one where they ended and then they tried to retcon it after, and everyone was like, no, shut up, we don't care? Yeah, I do want to watch that one just for that, just to stick it to them, and like, all this good canonical gay stuff.
And I believe that the original writer or creators came out and actually said that, yes, they are indeed a couple and are married.
I love that so much. Yuri on Ice is also slaps, if anyone hasn't consumed that at all.
I'm a fan of not only Yuri on Ice, but I'm a huge fan of the director of the series, Sayo Yamamoto. She has done so many fantastic anime. She did that show, she did Yuri on Ice, she did Lupin the Third, The Woman Called Fujiko Mine, which is another masterpiece, and she did Michiko and Hachi, another just excellent anime.
That woman called Fujiko Mine movie or series was also, yes. The main director of that was Takeshi Koike, who also did Redline.
Sayo Yamamoto was. I think you mean art director.
Oh yeah, art director. Damn. Yeah,
okay,
you're right.
Damn. Yeah, I was looking it up. Oh wow, there's so many things this person's done that I'm very impressed by. Like, what was it? I was just looking through it. Space Dandy was something I've always heard a lot of good things about. I've seen some of it. Yeah.
She did an episode of Space Dandy. It's a good episode. Though I can't watch it because it makes me fucking hungry all the time. It's an episode about trying to find like the perfect ramen restaurant, and I'm like, oh god damn it.
Ramen does.
Yeah.
Did an episode of Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt, which I've never wanted to watch, but I would 100% watch that episode.
Coming back.
Yeah, I have heard that.
It's Studio Trigger now has like the rights for the show, I guess. Now they can make like the sequel series.
Oh, speaking of Trigger, what do you think of Kill la Kill?
I love Kill la Kill. Great series.
Me too, yeah.
I won't say anything for anybody that hasn't watched it, but yeah, Kill la Kill is excellent. Still holds up quite a bit. Great series, lots of good action. Love the characters. Just a good. It has so much. It wears all of its influences on its sleeve. Just like the classic girl gang, the whole classic like girl gang characters. The shonen action type of battle arc type of things.
It's basically almost Gurren Lagann and whatnot. The other The big robot one, I forget the other one done by Gynax.
Evangelion?
Gunbuster.
Oh, Gunbuster. Okay, sorry. Because I know Gynax also did Evangelion, and I love Evangelion.
Yeah, Gunbuster is the best.
Yeah, Gunbuster. Yeah, it is. It is very Gunbuster. Yeah, Gunbuster is also fantastic. Yeah. Kill la Kill is just good stuff. And it has so much, like, it also has a lot of influence of Go Nagai on its sleeve. Yeah. Lots of Go Nagai, if you've read or seen anything by Go Nagai, Devilman, fucking...
Devilman, that's such a...
No, not Getarobo, but...
No, I think Getarobo was Go Nagai.
No, that was Ken Ishikawa.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you're right. Fuck, I'm an idiot. Wow, I feel stupid.
Well, speaking of other classics and whatnot, have you seen Pluto?
Yes, actually, that is a thing that I recently finished. I believe I finished in early March, late February. I loved Pluto. I was already a big fan of Naoki Urasawa and Osamu.
Monster is awesome.
And Osamu Tezuka. It's Osamu Tezuka. He's like practically the great grandfather of manga. But Pluto is fantastic. I loved Pluto a lot. Great characters. Pretty damn good writing. Naoki Urasawa can be a little missed sometimes. Like I think sometimes like the symbolism in his writing can get a little obnoxious. A little like, I get it, thank you. No, Pluto is excellent.
Yeah, robots of mass destruction.
Well, not that, but like the children and what the children represent. Oh, yeah. It's like, I get it, it's wholesome, thank you, yes. I understand, I'm not a fucking idiot. I've read a book and I've seen a film before, thank you.
I will say, I don't want to talk about it too much because it's pretty old at this point. Godzilla -1 was amazing. That was one of my favorite movies.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm really mad that I missed it in theaters. I tried to go see it, but I couldn't coordinate it in time. But I do want to check it out, though. I've heard so many amazing things about -1. I want to check it out. I do like the director of -1. He's done some really good movies.
I don't care for Godzilla, and it's probably one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It was amazing.
I'm very picky about Godzilla, about my Godzilla. I'm extremely picky, but
I could not stop stimming in the theater because we had these really big wide seats with at our own little table, and I was losing my shit constantly, being like, "Holy fuck!"
I've heard nothing but great things about -0. I want to check it.
Okay, I have.
Oh, can I mention two just real quick anime that I liked? Bocchi, also really old. Also,
Bocchi.
I love Bocchi so much. I'm halfway through that, and it's great.
Barely a year ago. That's not old.
It feels old to me. I never keep up with trends. And then also, one I've started watching, but I'm not as far into, but everything I've seen so far is great, and everything I've heard. Bofuri, I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense.
Yeah, I heard that's supposed to be pretty fun. That's supposed to be really fun.
It's really fun, and there's a lot of wholesomeness. But the only thing I don't like is there's occasionally weird shots that feel slightly fan servicey, and I'm like, what are we doing? It's just a touch, and that makes it almost weirder. Where you're like, what are we doing? It's very juxtapositioning to be like, oh, wholesome shield. What was that? Okay, I guess we'll just keep going. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't watch much current anime anymore. I'm kind of stuck in my old ways sometimes.
I get that.
Yeah, besides Pluto and if they either do a redo of Yu Yu Hakusho or continue JoJo, those I'm going to be there for.
Yeah, they did just do a season of JoJo with Stone Ocean.
Yeah, I like that. And
fantastic.
And the Yu Yu Hakusho live action I like.
I'm usually not a fan of live action anime stuff because it usually looks really cheap and ugly, and it's just I don't know. Just looks really bad, and I'm like most of the reason why I'm even watching this in the first place is because it's animated. You can't do this in live action; it's gonna look really ugly.
I was happy to hear that people at least some people liked Yu Yu Hakusho and One Piece, though. I know Netflix, as we were talking about, doesn't always knock it out of the park, but yeah.
I haven't finished.
That's good.
I will come out and say this: the Yu Yu Hakusho anime is the best dub of all time.
I do love that anime a lot.
There's some miscasting, genuine miscasting. It's still pretty solid for a dub. It's very accessible. Has some pretty good talent behind it. Good stuff.
Yeah, I met the voice actor of Yusuke once.
I had the chance to, and I didn't realize who he was because it wasn't on his poster. And I have a Yusuke Funko Pop that we would have had signed had we realized it.
coincidentally, he will be at a local convention on the 20th that I'm going to go to.
Right.
I'll tell him you said hi.
I'm going to meet him when he comes back to the Twin Cities. I really am, because I was upset that I didn't see him at Twin Cities Con because I didn't realize he was there. Because I was only interested. I was mainly spending all my money interested in Ashley Eckstein for Ahsoka, so I didn't pay attention to other people.
I have a bit of a Justin Cook thing where one of my favorite performances of him or from him was actually from the English dub for an anime that I deeply love. Sorry, I'm not trying to derail this, but just really quickly, an anime that I deeply love, a very fantastic series called Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. He plays this one character who, I oh my god, this should be the cringiest, awful thing ever, but he's actually pretty good in it, and he's good with what he does in it, but his character in Beck, there's an episode where he raps, and it's like, oh fuck, he's actually pretty decent. Like, he's got, like, actually decent flow, and he's not, like, doing the annoying, stupid, awful white guy rap thing that a lot of white people do when they rap, and it's fucking awful, and I hate it. But, like, no, he's actually, like, really decent at rapping. Holy shit.
Okay, I have two shows I want to mention quick. I was watching Marco Polo. I watched season 1, which is a Netflix produced show from, like, 2016.
Oh, okay, nice.
It's all right. I didn't finish it. I was watching it when I was on the plane. When I was on my vacation, because I just wanted something that I was like, I haven't seen this in years. I'll just download it on my phone and watch it off and on. But it's decent. Second, it only made it 2 seasons and got canceled, and I see why. But it was kind of like Netflix's version of Game of Thrones at the time, is what they were calling it. It's not, because this is good Game of Thrones in 2016, not what everybody hates. But as it got farther, but yeah, it's a decent show. I was watching that, and I'm also watching what's currently still running is Star Wars Bad Batch Season 3, which is the last season of that show. That I'm really enjoying. I'm excited we'll be covering that later on this podcast too. We've done the first 2 seasons, but that's a really good show. And then the only movie I want to mention, I did go see one movie in theaters. I saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire in theaters.
Oh, yeah,
I'm very curious.
I
enjoyed it. It's fine. I think it's a good movie.
I have a bit of a political thing with that. The new Ghostbusters movies that I'm not going to go into because I don't want to fucking be Captain Killjoy. I'm glad that people are really digging those. I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy to hear that.
It goes back to New York, and it feels like it captures a lot of that vibe of Ghostbusters to me. Like,
yeah, and they shockingly brought back fucking cast members. Like, holy shit, they were actually, like, interested in doing it again. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Bill Murray actually showed up. That's the key one that I'm surprised.
Bill Murray, like, wow, what the fuck did they do? What magic word did they use to bring him back? I thought he'd be like, no, I'm never doing that shit again.
Same. And the last thing that I want to mention, I took a trip to Nashville, Tennessee, and Knoxville, Tennessee, over the course of about 5 nights. We flew down there, and we spent about almost a week there. Fun town. And I'm happy to say, while driving through rural Tennessee, because I got off the highway when I shouldn't have, when I was going to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, as my friend who's from South Carolina or somewhere around there, he called it a redneck Disneyland, is what he called it. It looks like, it reminded me of the Strip in Vegas. It just has a bunch of different attractions. Like, it has a Titanic Museum, which is super damn cool, by the way. It had like a wax museum, some other stuff. I didn't have time, unfortunately. I was just there for the Titanic Museum, and then I drove back to Knoxville, which was an hour away. But it was a really cool experience just to visit. And Knoxville's very cool. Like, we were at the thing called the Sun Sphere, which is something that was made for the World's Fair. But they had a pride flag magnet in the Sun Sphere for the Sun Sphere that my wife had bought. And I thought that was really cool that Knoxville was actually, because we are in the South, and it seemed like a pretty, friendly for the South type.
Just like
that made me happy to see.
Just like the Simpsons episode. Hell yeah. Nice.
Well, I didn't know Simpsons. But I was, and I saw one Trump flag while driving. I was happy to only one. I was expecting to find hundreds. I saw one. And I saw 2 Trump stores, and I'm like, hey, you know what? The grifters want to grift other grifters, whatever. But it made me laugh. By the way, both were empty when I drove by. I mean, it wasn't early and late, but still, they were both empty. So
hell yeah.
This is going to seem like a very distant side tangent. It's weird to think next year we're getting more Stranger Things. That feels very old to me. It feels like a lifetime has passed since Stranger Things.
What happens when you take 3 years to make a season?
Well, it's because of the writer's strike and stuff. It all is fair. I get why it happened, but it's funny to be like, it feels like, I don't know, that era is like almost gone. And it's like, oh, there's more. And I'm like, wait, there is? I don't
Well,
It
it's
took
not
so
really
long
that-
in general.
There's not that much of it left. It's going to be the final season coming up. Like,
That's good.
Yeah, I know, but it's just funny because I was just thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I'm really happy those actors in Ghostbusters are doing their thing. And I was like, oh yeah, we still have a whole other season of that to get, huh?
Yeah,
All
It's
right.
probably already filmed by now, or mostly.
Oh yeah, it is. It'll just be weird to have it exist, have it come out, and it's like, oh yeah, it's 2025. Hi, Stranger Things, how you been?
yeah.
It's been rough out here.
Yeah, it's been too long, but I'll enjoy that. Oh, and I also went to Nashville. I got to go to downtown Nashville, walk around the bars, live music everywhere.
I heard, especially for a lot of places in the South, the food is like really fucking good.
Chicken's really good.
I'd love to. I mean, I know the politics of the South are awful, but I'd love to
Yes,
go
they are.
and experience the food of the South. Just lots of good stuff.
Nashville votes blue.
I unfortunately have to live in Alabama, so
Eh,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
on the Gulf Coast. Near,
It's warm.
yeah.
But no, the chicken in
Awesome.
Tennessee,
Sorry.
man, I had chicken wings at every place, and I eat chicken wings up here, but man, with some good chicken.
Did you get the like famous like Tennessee like barbecue sauces? I've heard like
No, I'm not
known for, like,
into hot food, so I had one buffalo chicken, but
okay.
no, nothing. We did have chicken at a place called Hattie B's that everybody recommended to go in Nashville, and we had like medium chicken wings because I didn't want really hot, and they were very good.
I totally get that, but still, like I still try to make an exception just to try the sauces because I've heard they're supposed to be like amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they were. I unfortunately didn't. But it
Probably
was
like
one
the,
time.
yeah, but probably like the best reason to live in the South out of anything, is the weather. Like you never have to deal with like shitty fucking weather. Like
I'm sorry. Here in Alabama, we have a saying: if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes.
Yep. Mhm.
of course.
10 minutes.
Son, hold on, 10 minutes. Okay,
See, we're both people coming from the north, me and Kyle, so we're like, warm.
Exactly.
What's warm?
fucking. I'm from the goddamn American Midwest, and I'm from the Canadian Midwest, so we're both.
I mean, you're
used to
farther
sit-
north than I am, but like, yeah, we both are like, I mean, I know a little bit more what warmth is, but
Like I think
Yeah.
a couple of days ago, it was super windy and rainy, almost tornado weather with a lot of lightning and hunkering
Yeah.
down and everything.
Yeah, well, the Midwest also gets its fair share of tornadoes too. We can relate to you in that department.
Well, do you get hurricanes?
yeah, we don't get that up here, thank God.
It's tornadoes, not
Well,
hurricanes.
If we do, it means it's the end of the world. So
It's the day after tomorrow.
I think I think we should wrap this up. So I'll just go to plugs.
Yeah, sure.
Milk, where can people find you at?
You can find me at Twitch/SpaceMilkCutie. I'm streaming at least once a week, still trying to get the consistency down of like what day, ideally, with life changes, but it's getting there. So I'm actually doing it somewhat regularly. Yay!
I'm really happy for you because it's good to. I mean, it's fun to create content.
I concur.
I should know. I do know.
Mhm.
And Carson, did you have anything to plug?
Yeah, I do have a streaming thing. I stream as a VTuber, PNG tuber named Desiree Corruption at twitch.com/Desiree Corruption. I am off and on. Just whenever the mood hits me, I'll stream something. I was gonna get it off the ground someday, but I'll probably just pop in, stream every now and again. I'm on Twitter under that and everything, so yeah, it's gonna be. I might stream some more, some Dragon's Dogma 2 or something. I don't know what I'll do.
Okay. And Kyle.
Well, yes, actually, you can find me in a couple of different places, and I do have some stuff to plug. First, I'd like to say for my social media stuff, you can find me at Blue Sky at Chibi UFO, CHIBI UFO.bluesky.social. You can find me on there. You can find me on Instagram at Chibi UFO, CHIBI UFO, once again, at Instagram. You can find me on those. You can also find me on my new podcast. You can find pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. If you have a place that has podcasts and it doesn't have my show, let me know. Tell me, and I will try to make sure. I will make sure that gets on that platform. Yeah, you can find me with my podcast, the Unidentified Flying Obsession Podcast, or the UFO Podcast. You can find me on there as well.
All right.
Oh, I'm also on Blue Sky as well as Desert Encryption, and also one of my other tags, Video Dragon 64.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you will see links to show notes to all the things that they have just mentioned, so you go check that out. If you want to support the show for a little $1 a month, you can vote in our Patreon polls. We have at least one every month, sometimes two. Only one this month because I'm far ahead of myself and need to get shit done. So, but you go help, you get support. So we do have a Discord, which you can talk to. These three lovely people are also in our Discord, so you will see a link in the show notes. That please join us. Always happy to have new people join the Discord and get people talking. So definitely go do that. I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Hasser. You can follow her on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram. You'll see a link to the link tree in the show notes. I want to give a shout out to Bill Tucker from A Gamer Looks at 40. Definitely go check his show out. He's currently talking about Final Fantasy.
Oh, I was on one of his I was on one of his Final Fantasy podcasts.
We'll come out at some point.
I was just one of his segments. Just asked me a question one time, but I'm sorry.
Okay, he takes conversations and cuts. Yeah, he does a very good show, but nothing like what am willing to do. I give him credit. Great show. So definitely go check him out. Check out Nomad to Fantasy, Nintendo Main Podcast, Talk Games, Chew Bubblegum. Just some of the shows I want to shout out some friends and try to do that. And also Bias Gaming, another podcast, so friend of the show on Discord. So definitely go check out that show too. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, TikTok. You can find us all there. Rate, review us wherever you get your podcast, please. Helps out a lot. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.